Alright guys, I'm back. And while I was sitting in the deer stand this morning, I was thinking about, where I was going to take my dad for his first Western hunt. So I was kind of going over some options, and I figured I'd go ahead and make a video on this, for all you guys who want to get into Western hunting. You don't know where to start, you don't know what species to go after. So I have a few things wrote down here, and I'm going to tell you guys the best hunts to go on for a beginner. And I'll kind of go over why these hunts are so good. So we're going to start off with probably the easiest hunt of them all, super fun hunt, and that is Wyoming pronghorn. So Wyoming pronghorn is a super awesome hunt to go on. There's a ton of opportunity there. It doesn't take a lot of points. This is probably going to be the highest success rate hunt out of all of these. Like I said, easy tag. If you get, there's, I'm sure, or I know for a fact, there are several units you can draw 0 points. There's doe tags. And even, if you get a 2 or 3 point, or if you get 2 or 3 points in Wyoming, you can go on a fantastic pronghorn hunt. So just keep that in mind. But again, like I said, you can go hunt with 0 points. You just have to do your research on that. They have long seasons. There's lots of public land, and that's one thing I'm going to kind of focus on in this video is access to public land and all that. So yeah, so Wyoming pronghorn, super easy terrain. If you're you want to go and you just kind of want to ease your way into it, it's easy terrain, high harvest success rates, and there's a lot of land to cover. So Wyoming pronghorn has got to be number one. The second one is Montana mule deer. So Montana has an awesome season. They have really long seasons, and the thing about Montana that's different is their rifle season actually runs right through the middle of the rut. They have a super long rifle season, goes all the way through the middle of the rut, so you'll be able to hunt the rut and hunt some mule deer. So Montana, again, not a super hard state to get a tag. 0 points, 1 point, 2 points. Pretty easy to get a tag. Montana is a little bit more expensive for their mule deer, but it's still a great hunt, awesome meat hunt. There's not, as much trophy potential, as compared to, Colorado or somewhere like that. But there's a lot of deer in Montana. There's a lot of public land, and there's a lot of opportunity. The next thing I'm going to talk about is Colorado mule deer. So the thing about Colorado mule deer is, and I'm going to go ahead and say this off the bat, is first of all, there are 0 point units. I just got back, a month ago from a second season hunt, 0 point unit, and I was successful on the morning of my second day. So it can be done, you just have to do your research. But Colorado, there's plenty of public land on the western part of the state. The eastern plains of Colorado is a lot of private. But, on the western side, there's a ton of public. There's a lot of opportunity. They have a ton of mule deer in Colorado. It's a little bit tougher terrain than, say, probably, southeastern Montana and, hunting pronghorn in Wyoming. A little bit tougher terrain, but it's not too bad. One thing I really like about Colorado is the trophy potential. It doesn't matter where you are in Colorado. There's big bucks all over the place in every single unit on public land. You just have to find them. So again, Colorado mule deer, awesome hunt to go on. Great hunt to start to start out west. And yeah, it doesn't get much western than Colorado. It's an awesome hunt. While we're talking about Colorado, let's go ahead and talk about the Colorado elk. So everybody has, that's like every western hunter's dream is, killing a big elk in the mountains of Colorado, at 12,000 feet. But let's go ahead and talk about a few things. There's a ton of great things to be said about it, but there's also some things you should keep in mind. So number one, elk in Colorado, they have a lot of OTC hunters. So you can grab an OTC rifle elk tag, you know, again, do your research, but you can grab an OTC rifle elk tag, second season, I believe third season too. Tons of units to choose from. But because it's OTC, you know, you're not the only person. It's not some secret. So you'll have a lot of competition out there. It can be very tough, very, very physically demanding. It's out of all of these, this is probably the hardest one. It is more expensive, and like I said, lots of competition, but it can be done, and you can go literally next year. So, and in most of these, I mean, you can go on all of these in 1 year. You know, the Wyoming pronghorn is probably going to be the harder one to do, but it still can be done in a 0-point unit. And again, the Colorado mule deer is, you know, pretty difficult tag to get, but if you have 0 points, that is. But again, do your research. But the Colorado elk, obviously, you know, you get a giant elk, you get a ton of meat. It's a super great hunt to go on. So just to kind of recap, Wyoming pronghorn, high success rates, lots of land, very easy terrain to cover. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, it's, like I said, when you're hunting pronghorn in Wyoming, it's not, the success rates would be so much higher if people weren't so picky. The only reason that they're lower than 100% in most units is because people were being picky, and that's all it is. Montana mule deer, fairly easy tag to get, mild terrain. I wouldn't say, and it depends on the part of the state you go to, obviously. But, you know, the southeastern part of Montana, you know, fairly mild terrain, lots of public land, lots of game, super long season. So that's awesome. Not hard to, you know, plan your schedule around that hunt. And then the Colorado mule deer requires a little bit more research. The terrain, you know, can be more difficult. There's lots of public land in the western part of the state, but there's also huge trophy potential compared to Montana. And then lastly, the Colorado elk. The pros, easy tag to get. It's a super fun hunt. Lots of public land. Obviously, it's super rewarding if you do get one. You know, the cons are it's a little bit more expensive of a hunt. It's more physically demanding. And obviously, you know, again, the competition cannot be said too much. But guys, I really think everyone should get into Western hunting. It's the best experience I've ever had in my life. I hope you guys enjoyed, and don't forget to like and subscribe.